I'm here with Parker from Insight. Now, Parker, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you.
But for those of our viewers tuning in at home who may not have seen you on our segment before, who are you? What do you do?
Yeah,
Tell us about your role.
Awesome. Yeah, happy to be back. Parker Johnston. I'm a agentic field CTO for Insight. So that really just comes down to saying I get to spend every day out in the field with our customers and our clients trying to help them understand, here's the pain points around AI. We're well aware of those. We have a rich history trying to solve them. Let us work with you to build a roadmap, a partnership, and understanding of how to go be successful.
So pretty busy then.
Traveling quite a bit, yeah.
Yeah, pretty busy. I'm sure you're doing well on your frequent flyer points.
Moving statuses left and right, yep.
Same. So let's dig right into the big one. Insight made a very exciting announcement last week. Yep. So can you tell us more about that for those who might not know?
Yeah, of course. Insight last week came together with an announcement around Insight AI. It's a strategy where we're taking our historical knowledge of meeting clients where they are, what we've done internally as a frontier firm, and said, hey, we've gone through the same struggles and pain points that every other organization is likely facing. We created IP around something called Prism, where we're going and taking all of the knowledge, all of our understanding, and helping clients to assess, understand, and grow their internal AI strategy as a platform. And then from there, we kind of moved a little bit deeper with something called Radius AI. That's an opportunity, about a 4 to 6 week engagement for us to go and meet them, understand their pain points, understand the KPIs that we want to leverage to be valuable and successful, start to understand how best to architect and deliver those capabilities, and then finally end it with something called DevShop. That DevShop is an opportunity to go and do continuous delivery, working hand in hand with that partner to be successful throughout the duration of the project together.
So it sounds very structured, but also very busy.
Very successful so far in the opportunities we've had around it.
That's awesome. And there's been a lot of talk recently about AI project failures. So, and maybe some skepticism around AI.
Yep.
So what's your take on those headlines?
Yeah, those headlines are interesting. I think if you think through, I think it's an MIT report that every phone call I'm on, I think is the kickstart of, hey, this MIT report says 95% of projects fail. There's other ones from CIO Dive about people shelving projects, I think moving from 42% this year to 17% last year. There's a lot of concern around that, saying, hey, we don't want these projects to fail. We don't want to make this large investment to try to go through and understand what's happening. That's part of where Prism and Radius AI come into account. Let us understand what the capabilities are. Let us understand where your organization is, and let's slowly move from ideation to proof of concept, to minimal viable product, to proof of value, and then to production from there. So taking a step back, understand what we're actually trying to build versus what someone in the organization thought was a good idea at some point, but really understand the meaning and the opportunity behind building the proper thing the first time so that we can get a second opportunity to go and drive AI. I love to get out there and talk with folks and say, hey, look, at the end of the day, that first project that fails is probably the last project your organization is going to get an opportunity on because it's going to be lost cost of money. So really understanding that capability, putting it through its paces, and getting the right stakeholders in the room that are all aligning on what success looks like is really how to avoid that failure.
Yeah. So have you managed to win some hearts and minds and change people's minds who may be AI skeptics? Is it easy or?
It's not easy. We're out there way too often, traveling, like you said earlier, traveling quite a bit. But I think we've really boiled it down to a simple solution: is you have the low code, or you have the no code space of Copilot, Copilot Chat. You have a low code opportunity to go through and do BPA, maybe some business process automation with Copilot agents. And then you have the pro code space, which is obviously the massive announcements today of Anthropic coming into Foundry. But meeting our users across those three planes is really what drives success. It's, hey, let's take the quick wins. Let's give people already what they have. Let's try to empower maybe a business analyst to go do a little bit more. And finally, let's bring the whole of Foundry in-house and really build a one-off solution that's going to be successful. That's kind of how we're taking the skeptics and saying it's not $1 million spend. It's actually something you probably have for free in your organization that you could use today and drive value from.
Yeah, it's such amazing underused assets that people have, right? So now I'm going to go there because I always do, but security always comes up in these conversations. It's a big topic. I always think it's a #1 concern, but specifically, how do you see and how do you address that security concerns, and how does it fit into that AI adoption piece?
Yeah, I think the security aspects come down to a simple solution of do you or do you not wanting your teammates scooping out something, putting into ChatGPT, there goes all your fun, there goes all your IP, your information that's out there now. But really saying, okay, we need to give our team a best-in-breed solution. We're going to spin up a model in Foundry. We're going to go be successful using just that. That's our ring-fenced instance, nothing going outbound. Yeah. And that's where it starts from a code level and an understanding level. But then if you go one step farther, it's learning what other people have been through and the pain points that have happened there. I know Jeremy Nelson from Insights having a great conversation on Wednesday at one of the presentations around this and saying, hey, let's go and talk about real-world examples that maybe had spoofed phone calls or other opportunities that you all need to be on the lookout for as well, and how to guard against those from becoming a larger impediment in your organization.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't agree more. I'm always like, we can never do too much security. Yep. Not everyone would agree with me, depending on business priorities, but that's what I think. And as you said, you're out there talking to clients every day. We're racking up the frequent flyer miles. But are there any other trends or announcements, maybe apart from here at Ignite, that have caught your attention that's people should be thinking about?
I think the biggest one is something that I've been using for a while. Unfortunately, I think it finally came into delivery today of model router. I think that is a topic that people need to better understand. Between that and Foundry Local, I think are two things that people maybe often overlook or don't fully understand. But digging in and saying, all right, Foundry Local allows my dev team to have expedited delivery at no cost. I can pull down models that I need. I can do the work that I need, and then move it through the paces from there. And then model router, I know it was announced today, and you're saying, hey, outside the bounds of what was announced today.
I know, it's a trick question.
We've been using it for a while at Insight with the great partnership we have with Microsoft, and it's one of saying, all right, how do we reduce costs and how do we get the same value and expectation out of what we're looking for in our modeling?
Yeah. So now it is out in the open. Yeah. Can you say anything more about model router? Is there anything else you're going to do with it, or now?
I think it's just now getting back to evangelizing it, much like we talked about Copilot, pro code, no code, low code, all those solutions. It's now going out and evangelizing it. It's out there. Let's get people to understand the true power of what's behind it. Like you talked about earlier with Copilot, this was really a nothing thing that people often overlook. Now it's a massive requirement of every organization to be that frontier firm and bring it together.
Yeah, it's so I did sort of. I always like to push people to ask them questions, but frontier firm, you mentioned it a couple of times, but like, what does that mean in terms of, what does it mean to you and Insight as kind of maybe an ideal state, North Star kind of thing?
So we were very early adopters in Copilot. We had, I believe, about 10,000 people take it on initially. We've now rolled it out to the entire organization. We're able to track internally and say, hey, how much throughput are we seeing with that? I think it's 8,500 hours a month or 8,500 hours a week of saved time just from using something like Copilot. That's a massive win, and it's really where we're looking to go, and it sounds like where the frontier firm is looking to go. How do we pair a human with an agent to start that first wave of success, and then how do we start to pair a team of agents with a human into that wave 2 motion, and then finally, how do we start to bring it all together and hand off those work items to a fleet of agents across the enterprise and across the organization? And that's what we're looking at now from solutions we've built internally that are allowing sales motions to be expedited, documents to be auto-created, and all the way down to pro code, coding to happen automatically in the background to organizational standards.
Yeah, it's because it means different things to different people, right? So I like to ask the question, but we're using the term a lot. Now, before we wrap up, because we've covered a lot of ground here, but where can people learn more about Insight if this sparks their interest and they want to get going? And how else can they connect with you and the team? You mentioned there are some breakouts coming up, like in the following days that people at home can watch, or if you're here at Ignite. But anything else you want to call out for people?
Yeah, I think it's simple. So for those at Ignite, we're down at booth 927. Come down the escalators. You'll see us right there. Giant fuchsia fun about to happen.
Well, yes, and for those who haven't been down there, it's pretty hard to miss. Quite a big, bright booth.
Exactly. Very fuchsia, very pink heavy. But we have great demos there. We have people from across organizations. So just because you're not hearing something or people talk about one industry today, we have industry experts down there ready to meet you with use cases and success stories from there. Additionally, if you're in person, we have Wednesday, Jeremy Nelson, I talked about earlier, and then Thursday, Greg Reese and I are Chris Thompson and I are delivering a presentation around how to take a black box to confidence with AI. And then finally, for those at home, Google and search up how can we be successful with Prism. Go and Google Insight Prism. We have the press release that's out there. You all saw it earlier. And it's just how we're going to try to drive awareness and success.
Awesome. Well, Parker, it's been a pleasure once again to
Always.
talk to you. And for more information about Insight, you can follow the link on your screen below. And that's it from us in the studio right now.